There are fewer than 20 people alive who survived rabies after symptoms began. Not 20 per year, 20 in all of recorded human history. You probably think you know what rabies is: a dog bite, a shot at the ER, a close call, something with a clear moment, an animal, a wound, a decision to get checked out or not. That is not how most Americans die from rabies. Most Americans who die from rabies never felt a thing. No bite they remembered, no wound they treated, no moment they could point to. What they had was a bat in their bedroom. And what they did was open a window, shoo it out, and go back to sleep. This is that story. And it starts exactly the way it started for them. You wake up on a Wednesday morning in October. The room is dark. The alarm has not gone off yet. Something is wrong, but you cannot immediately identify what. And then you see it, hanging from the curtain rod above your window, folded into itself, perfectly still. A bat, small, brown, the size of a closed fist. It has been in your room all night. You do not panic. You grab a towel, open the window, and after a few minutes, you get it outside. You watch it disappear into the gray morning sky. You look at your arms, your neck, your hands. Nothing. No mark, no bite. You feel completely fine. You go back to bed. Here is what the CDC says about exactly this moment. If you wake up and find a bat in your room and you cannot completely rule out contact while you were sleeping, seek medical evaluation immediately. Not because you were definitely bitten, because bat teeth are so small, roughly the diameter of a sewing needle, that the bite mark is often invisible. You cannot feel it. You cannot find it. And the question is not whether it hurt. The question is whether it happened at all. And the only honest answer when you were unconscious in the same room as a bat all night is that you do not know. Most people do not know this. Every year in the United States, between 1 and 3 people die from rabies, and almost every single one of them traces back to a bat they did not think was a problem. You are not most people. You Googled it. You find the CDC page. You read the part about bats and bedrooms, and you feel something cold move through your chest. You call your doctor when they open at 8. The nurse puts you on hold. When she comes back, she tells you to come in. What happens next saves your life, but you will not know that for 2 months. The treatment for potential rabies exposure is called post-exposure prophylaxis. 4 injections over 14 days. The first contains rabies immunoglobulin, ready-made antibodies that flood your system immediately. The remaining 3 are the vaccine itself, training your immune system to recognize and destroy the virus on its own. It works in nearly 100% of cases if started before symptoms appear. Your doctor schedules all 4 appointments before you leave. You drive home feeling slightly ridiculous, like someone who called 911 because they heard something outside. You do not feel ridiculous for long. 3 days in, your doctor calls. The county had flagged a bat colony in the attic above your block. 2 bats tested positive for rabies. She tells you this calmly. She tells you the shots will work. You sit with the phone in your hand for a long time after she hangs up. You finish the series. Now here is the part of the story where you watch what happens to someone who did not make that call. His name was David. He lived in Virginia. In the summer of 2009, he woke up and found a bat in his bedroom. He looked at his arms. Nothing. He felt fine. He did not call anyone. He was 35 years old and healthy, and the bat was gone, and the morning was already running late. He made a reasonable decision with the information he had. He was wrong in a way he had no way of knowing. For 8 weeks, nothing changed. David went to work, came home, slept. The rabies virus, which had entered through a bite too small to see, was traveling through his peripheral nerves toward his brain, not through his blood, through the nerves themselves, moving at approximately 1 centimeter per day, undetectable. There is no blood test that can find rabies during this window. No scan, no symptom, nothing. It does not announce itself. In September, David woke up with a headache, mild fever. He took ibuprofen. By the following day, the headache had not improved. He felt anxious in a way he could not explain. He snapped at his wife over something small and felt strange about it, like he was watching himself from a distance. The next morning, he could not button his shirt. He was having trouble swallowing. His wife brought him a glass of water, and when he reached for it, something happened that neither of them could understand. His throat seized. His whole body lurched backward. He spilled the water and stood in the kitchen breathing hard, staring at the glass on the floor. He was afraid of the water. Not afraid the way you fear something dangerous. Afraid the way a reflex fires without asking permission. The way your hand pulls from a hot stove before your brain processes the word hot. His body would not let him swallow. The spasms were involuntary and they happened every time he tried. This is called hydrophobia, and it is one of the defining symptoms of rabies encephalitis, and by the time it appears, the virus has already reached the brainstem. David was admitted to the hospital that afternoon. His wife mentioned the bat. A neurologist connected it within hours. They confirmed rabies. His doctors told his family what they already feared. No established treatment existed. They would make him comfortable. He died 9 days later. Here is what rabies actually does, and why once you understand the mechanism, you will never watch a zombie movie the same way again. Rabies targets the central nervous system. After traveling through peripheral nerves, it reaches the brain and replicates rapidly inside the neurons. It attacks the limbic system, which controls emotion and aggression. It damages the hippocampus, which governs memory and recognition. It inflames the brainstem, which controls swallowing and breathing. This is why the symptoms progress exactly the way they do. Personality changes first as the limbic system is hit, then hydrophobia as the brainstem makes swallowing trigger spasms, then aggression and hallucinations as the virus spreads, then paralysis, then coma, then death. 2 to 10 days from first symptom to the end. Now here is what the people who study the history of disease noticed a long time ago. Every defining symptom of late-stage human rabies maps directly to what storytellers and chroniclers were describing when they wrote about the undead. Uncontrollable aggression toward people they previously loved, inability to swallow, saliva accumulating, foaming at the mouth, extreme sensitivity to light and sound, transmission through a bite, a progressive erasure of personality until the person you knew is no longer present in the body that remains. The zombie is not a supernatural invention. The zombie is what people watched happen to someone they knew after that person was bitten by a rabid animal and survived long enough for the full neurological progression to play out. In ancient Greece, rabies was called lyssa, meaning mad frenzy. In medieval Europe, the symptoms were attributed to demonic possession. In 18th century Eastern Europe, the connection between bites, infection, and transformation into something dangerous and unrecognizable was a close enough to observed reality that they built an entire mythology around it and named it vampirism. The stories are not imagination. They are eyewitness accounts with the wrong explanation attached. There's one more thing. In 2004, a 15-year-old girl named Jana Giese was at church in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, when a bat flew through the sanctuary. Someone caught it and passed it around before releasing it. The bat scratched Gina's hand. Small scratch. She did not seek treatment. A month later, she began showing neurological symptoms and was admitted to Children's Hospital of Wisconsin with confirmed rabies encephalitis. Her doctors, knowing no standard treatment existed, proposed an experiment. They would place her in a medically induced coma to protect her brain while antivirals gave her immune system time to respond. It had never worked before. It worked on Jana. After 31 days, she came out of the coma. She spent months relearning to walk and speak. She graduated from college. She is one of fewer than 20 people in documented history to survive rabies after symptom onset. The Milwaukee protocol has been tried on dozens of patients since. It has almost never worked again. Rabies kills approximately 59,000 people every year. Almost every death is preventable. The shots work. They work completely if started before symptoms appear. The incubation window is weeks, sometimes months. The virus moves slowly enough that there is time. People die not because the treatment fails, but because they do not know they need it. Because the bat was small. Because nothing hurt. Because the morning was already running late. If you wake up and there's a bat in your room, you call someone before you do anything else. Not because you are definitely infected, because the cost of being wrong is everything, and the cost of 4 shots over 2 weeks is not. You are fine. You finished your series in November. You went back to normal. You think about David sometimes, not every day, but when October comes and the cold moves in and bats start looking for somewhere warm to wait out the winter, late at night when the house is quiet, you check the window is closed all the way. You leave the light on, then sleep.